Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Lex for the Record interview. This time, I am joined by Grace Annabella Anderson, who is an independent singer-songwriter and multidisciplinary artist. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here and giving me your time to talk with me. We've got a lot of fun, cool new things to talk about. Mainly, she has her debut album coming out on February 6th. Is that correct?
Yes, February 6th.
Awesome. So save that date, and it is called Art Baby, which brings me to my first question for you, and that is, what details can you tell us about Art Baby so far, and how would you describe the record?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've so far released 5 singles off of the album Art Baby. And I feel like the singles that I've released thus far like give you kind of a good taste of the range of the album. There's a lot of, I think it's the most exploratory I've ever been in my writing. I think the album really ranges in style choices. It's really, I think storytelling is at the heart of it. I'm at the end of the day a storyteller. I'm an actor. So I feel like in acting and songwriting, my focus is always on the lyricism and the stories that I tell. So the album is 13 tracks, and all of them are very story centric, very introspective, and they kind of really they chronicle an arc of a lot of different relationship dynamics. There's songs about friendship, there's songs about relationships, just kind of like a collage of my life in my early 20s and documenting things that navigating emotions that I wouldn't know how to navigate otherwise other than writing in them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also a fellow early 20s girly, so I feel you.
Yes.
But yeah, that is such a good description. Wow, I love that. So, back to your singles that you mentioned, I
Yes.
have listened to all of those and I 100% agree. Like, there's such a range in them. There's so many different emotions I can tell that you're feeling and telling and describing. And I will say my favorite one so far is Halfway.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Yes,
happy.
that one, like, it truly, like, when I listened to it, I was like, this is giving like Casey Musgraves vibes. Like, that's who
I
I thought of.
appreciate that. I love Casey Musgraves. Oh my gosh. I saw her on tour like way years ago, like probably like 2017 or something, when she was in my hometown in Minneapolis at the State Theater, and like
Nice.
I've been obsessed with her for a long time. So there's definitely a little bit of that Casey Musgraves, also kind of like first aid kit influence on a couple of the songs that gets in there, where it's like still very much in the indie pop genre, but you hear that
Hmm.
like little like country feel in it, which is
Yeah.
it's fun. I didn't even really plan that. It just kind of like seeped into the writing a bit, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna lean into it. It's such a fun, yeah, such a fun side to explore.
Yeah, for sure.
But
The
I'm so
best
happy,
things.
so happy like halfway. Halfway
Oh,
is like
yeah.
was one of my favorite ones to write. It's so fun.
Really cool. Yeah, I mean, I loved all of them, but that was the one that really like resonated with me the most and the one that I just like really like I guess kind of locked into. I was like, yeah, this is the one for me.
I'm so happy to hear it.
Yeah, amazing. So, now I want to know, like, was there like a specific moment or just an idea that came to your mind that was like the spark for this album, or like just the moment that you knew that this was the story that you needed to tell?
Mhm. Honestly, it wasn't one specific moment. It was really like a very natural process of building the album. It was, I mean, I had so many songs, and then the like sifting through all of the things that I had written, it kind of fell into place in a very organic way. I felt like it was natural what songs were going to be on the album and what songs weren't. There are a lot of through lines with themes. There's a lot of themes of disillusionment, of romanticism, of longing, that I felt like all of the songs were cohesive in that way, that they had a lot of thematic through lines. So the ones that I felt like weren't as cohesive kind of fell off of the album. And the album really felt like it came together very organically. I decided to name the album after the single, after the song Art Baby, because I don't know, it felt like the really like the crux of the crux of the album. Like it felt it, and also just like was such a fun, that was one of the songs too. Art Baby was one of the songs that I felt like was the most empowering to write, because in a lot of the other songs that I write, I think I'm always exploring, like I had mentioned, like longing or this sense of want or need. And in Art Baby, it was really a kind of like a reclaiming of power and a yeah, it put the focus back on my own individuality and creativity in a way that was like very fun for me to write. So I felt like it was only natural that that would be kind of like the song that the album was centered around.
Yeah, for sure. That music video, I love it so much. Like I got the
Thank you.
same exact feeling where it was like, at first you're like in this painting, but then you're not anymore and you're like having a nice time around the city and you just look, free and just
Yeah,
happy. Like I love that. I love that so much. That was such a fun watch and just yeah, empowering.
yeah, it was such a fun music video to create too. I was really lucky to get to work with Samantha Joya, who's an incredible director. And I loved that concept that we came up with together of like kind of emerging from the painting, reclaiming my own identity apart from being viewed through the lens of another person and being just like a muse or like a secondary figure in someone else's life.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of, I guess, leads me into another question, which is when it comes to that like interesting relationship between like artist and muse, like
Mhm.
what are some things that kind of make you realize like, oh, this is just the love of their own ideas projected onto me versus like real love? Like what made you,
Yeah.
I guess, kind of realize that?
hmm It's interesting. I think it's actually really tempting to fall into a like dynamic where you are feel like you're someone else's muse, or you feel like they're looking at you through a very like idealized in their mind lens, like they're projecting onto you. I think it's very tempting to fall into that, and it can be great, honestly, for like up until a point that you are a normal human being and you realize, wait, this isn't real, really. Because it's always, I think even for me, like when I start to fall for anyone new, I think that I there's always like that period of excitement and newness of like, oh, how are they seeing me? Which is cool at first, but it honestly, I think there's always a moment in time where you realize that that's not sustainable and it won't hold up unless you actually realize that you're being taken for the entirety of who you are and not just what they want you to be. And I think I'm sometimes guilty of the same thing too. Like sometimes I'll project what I like the best in people, or like what I wish that someone was like. Like I will
Hmm.
see them as that. But I think in the situation with that inspired Art Baby and a lot of other songs on the record, it was just it I think it was just a point of me realizing that I would have to really fundamentally alter myself to keep
Uh,
staying in this person's um yeah, to continuing to pretend to be, basically not pretend to be, like to continue to be this person's ideal version
mhm.
of me. I would have to like stray from who I really am. So I think that at a point I was just like, I can't, like I need to break free of that, which is exactly
Hmm.
what Art Baby is, just like returning to myself.
Yeah, for
That makes
sure.
sense. It was a long-winded
Yes.
answer.
No, that makes perfect sense. Like I totally get that. That's something I feel like that's kind of easy to fall into, especially like
Mhm.
during the initial stages of a relationship. You
Yeah.
think that like you need to fit what either you think this person wants or like what they actually want. And like if you can't, like I just feel like if you can't I guess kind of do that, then yeah, it's not gonna work. Like number one, you shouldn't have to, and like if you feel like
Mhm.
you should have to, then
Yeah,
get out.
absolutely. Yeah, and that's the
Get
thing.
out.
Like at the end of the day, if you feel like you have to always kind of be catering to a version of like you always have to be a version of yourself that they want you to be, that it's not, it's ultimately like you're doing yourself such a disservice, and
Hmm.
it's really it's just inauthentic. Yeah.
And it's exhausting
Yeah.
to try to keep up, something that you're not or something that you don't
Totally.
feel like you really are. It's
Yes, yeah, and I think a lot of the songs on this album actually, like now that we're talking about this, I'm thinking I'm thinking more about it. A lot of the songs on this album
yeah.
explore that deeply. Like there's you kind of see like my perspective on that situation in a
Hmm.
lot of different stages, kind of through some of the songs. Like in my song For Once, that's it's on the album, but it's not yet released. There's a lyric in the bridge. It's I can be what you want. You say the word, I'll play the role. And that's
Ooh.
like very much the beginning. Like For Once is really, it comes early in the album. It's very like
Hmm.
beginning stages of when everything's sparkly and new and exciting. And I'm like, oh, I know that this person wants me to be basically kind of like an accessory, honestly, for them. Like,
Yeah.
you say the word and I can make myself be whatever you want me to be. And then Art Baby is like the complete opposite of that. It's the moment of realizing, okay, this is not sustainable and it's also not what I want, you know?
Yeah, because like stuff like that, it's like you can do it for a little while, but
Yeah.
eventually it's gonna catch up to you. And yeah, it feels like Art Baby is like it's finally catching up, and you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, back to
exactly.
myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. So like I just love this. Like this is making me even more excited for the rest of the album.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm so happy. I'm excited for the rest of the album too. It's been like
Yeah,
it's been in the making for so long, honestly. And like some of the
mm,
songs on the record I even wrote like a couple of years ago. So
really.
it's been like brewing for a long time. The recording process was obviously the most lengthy because I've
Hmm.
released two EPs, but this is my first, full scale project, full length. So it's been, yeah, it's been brewing for a long time, and I'm so excited to share it.
Yeah, so would you say that making a full-length album's always been like a goal of yours? Pretty much from the
Mhm.
start?
It has been actually. I think it's just it's really a labor of love, honestly. There's so much that goes into it. But I've had such a appreciation and respect for the album as a concept, like to have the like a whole set of cohesive songs that tell a story, and I don't know, I'm someone that consumes albums like start to finish. Like I love to listen
Same.
to a whole album in order. Yeah, no, I know
Same.
it, and I know you have an appreciation for that as well. And
Yeah.
so I was excited to talk to you about it.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's yeah, it's just I think it's such a beautiful art form, and I think it makes me sad that we live in a world where the single is very much, kind of like the driving force. It's the thing
Hmm.
that's marketable. It's like what's most palatable to people. Um, because I mean, part of me, I always have wished like I could, pull a Taylor Swift with folklore and just like drop the whole thing, be
The
like,
whole
oh, by the
thing.
way, like here's the album, the entire
Mhm.
thing, like listen to it from the start
Surprise!
to the end. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I think it's so cool. But yeah, so it was really exciting to record a full length album, and it was always a goal of mine.
Yeah. So you actually brought up an interesting topic when you mentioned that, it's kind of hard to get people to listen to a full album these days. Like it's usually the single that
Mhm.
is what's gonna kind of draw people in. So like when you were
Or even like
picking,
a piece of a single, even like a
yeah,
sound bite that's on TikTok or something.
yep.
Like it's very hard. Yeah.
I'm telling you, like I have such a love-hate relationship with TikTok because it's like kind of great to get your name out there, but I feel like it's kind of like altered music in not a
Yeah.
good way. Like,
Yeah.
does that make sense? Like, do you kind
I
of think the
totally agree.
same?
Yeah, I think it's like a really a double-edged sword in a lot of
Mm,
ways. Yeah, for exactly the reason you said.
yeah. But then when it comes to your singles, how did you go about picking the ones that you have chosen as singles so far? Like, what's your single picking process like?
Ooh, you're like I'm going back in time. I'm like I feel like I've like been like eat, sleep, breathing these these songs for so long that
Yeah.
I'm like I forget back like when I actually was choosing them. I think I chose I mean, in a lot of ways there are certain things that you look out for with singles, like in terms of length, you know, in terms of
Hmm.
time, in terms of how like upbeat or not they are in like regarding what people advise about being the most, you know, being the most like grabby. I think
Hmm.
for me though, I really wanted to, I got advice from someone that was like my favorite advice, which was choose singles that are the stories that you feel most passionate about or like the stories
Ooh.
that you feel like you want to talk about. And I think that that was
Mhm.
something that really motivated me to choose these specifically because I do have such a writing these songs. I mean writing all the songs it was hard to choose because all the songs on the album are very personal to me and I have such a clear um it was such a moment in time of writing all of them and I was going through something very specific. But the songs that I chose as singles were very um I felt like they were really like a piece of my writing that I was excited to put out and that I felt like were very almost like diary like for me.
Oh
And I was like,
yeah.
okay, I feel like I can really, I don't know, I feel like these they just kind of like glowed glowed off of my track list to me and they were like it just felt like a very natural process of like okay, these ones felt like the ones that I wanted to I wanted to put out first because also I think they do like I said there is kind of a range there's a range from Love Potion to Halfway to Transgressor like they
Hmm.
I think they're a good representation of the like different of like the spectrum of the album in terms of style in terms of lyricism um yeah they encapsulate the vibe pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. And like just so many feelings. Like, you can tell that this isn't just like whenever you're going to be singing on this record, like it's not going to be just one emotion or one feeling all the way through. Like you are just hitting us with everything, like all the
Yeah.
ups, the downs, because it's not
Yes.
just a straightforward process, I guess. Like you kind of
Yeah.
have to go through the motions, the feelings.
Yeah, exactly. And I think before, in a lot of like my default in writing is usually to write very introspectively and usually like sad songs. So it was fun, honestly, to push myself with this album to kind of explore new facets of my own songwriting, like especially with Love Potion. And there's another song
Hmm.
on the album that's kind of I consider it like a sister song to Love Potion. I wrote them around the same time and with the same like writing process. And it was basically like a it was like a writing challenge for me. I was trying to push myself to write in a different way than I had before and feel like I was writing songs more like I write poetry, where I'm like taking bits and pieces of life and the city and observations and the senses and like kind of almost like collaging it into lyrics and even just words that I think sound cool together and um, creating a story from that versus from a very specific experience that happened to me. So that was a fun way of writing too.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So, just when it comes to your writing process, so can you like walk us through that, like
Yeah.
your whole writing process?
Yeah, I mean it's different honestly for every song. Like I said, those Love Potion and one of the other ones was very different.
Hmm.
But I a lot of the times really my writing process is I I rarely I have, but I rarely sit down and I'm like, okay, I want to write a song right now. Like I need to come up with something. And I have before. I think it's a really good exercise. But I oftentimes the songs that I love the most obviously come from something very personal or something that I'm trying to work
Hmm.
through. So I will really I mean, I'm someone that I turn to music at every at every single life event or anything that happens. I'm like, okay, I need
Hmm.
to like I have like 500 playlists on Spotify, truly like for every single thing. every every like mood, vibe, situation, I'm like, okay, like I need to listen to something that
We're
will
the same
make me
person.
feel less alone in this. Right, yeah, because music can be so cathartic in that way. And I love when you can see yourself in someone else's lyrics and you're like, okay, this like
Yes.
I feel like this artist like crept into my brain and wrote this song. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's amazing. It's such a cool experience. So the songs that I really feel like are my favorites are the ones that I wrote out of a moment of wanting to turn to music, and there was nothing that was like exactly what I was feeling or
Mm.
what I was experiencing. So I was like, okay, I have to write it. Because that's ultimately like I mean, that's like my ultimate goal with my music. It's just that people listen to it and feel less alone with whatever they're going through and feel like they see themselves um, in the the story that I'm telling.
Yeah, can you tell us what those songs are? Like the ones that are your favorites that you didn't think there were other songs out there to like capture your
Yes.
emotion?
Um, so specifically, I think Take It Back, and there's another song on the album called Fate, and
Mm.
those two were just I remember I was listening to I wrote them at like such a busy time in my life, and I
Mm.
just sat with my acoustic guitar and got like a voice memo down for them, and then I was like listening to that voice memo while I was like on the subway, and I was like, okay, like it made me almost like feel better to listen to. I was like, okay, like I have it. I'm like, I have this, what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling was so intense, and I felt such a strong sense of loss for a connection that felt very strong and very cosmic to me.
Mm.
And so I was get just putting that out there and like getting that song down in a way that I felt was really representative of what I was feeling felt very fulfilling to me, because I was like, okay, like I can, in a way, like I can feel like it eases my mind and my spirit a little bit to have created something that makes me feel like I have a better handle on what I'm feeling,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's wow, that's a nice thing to be able to do. Like
Yeah,
write it yourself if it's not out there. Like that is just
yeah.
wow, how awesome.
It's cool. I think that it's I mean, and the thing is like there's so much amazing music in the world. I
Hmm.
love to discover new artists all the time. I love to find things that I haven't listened to before, like explore. My music taste runs the gamut of genres and everything. But
Hmm.
I think that it's always really cool for me to find a song that I'm like, wow. And I think actually Sabrina Carpenter has been doing a great job of this recently, where
Hmm.
like she'll write a song that I'm like, wow, like no, I feel like no one's ever written about that specific thing before, which is it's I love when that happens because there's so much kind of redundancy with themes and with
Uh-huh.
and like you I mean it never gets old because it's always someone's unique expression of it and their take on it. But I love when people write songs about something that I feel like, oh wow, like I didn't there's not another song out there that like is about that specific thing.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Like one of my favorites from her, and like I just love how she kind of like turns it into, I guess, something kind of humorous, but it's like in Slim Pickens from Short and Sweet.
Yes.
Most people when it comes to like feeling like, I guess, kind of like down that like, there's Slim Pickens out there and you don't feel like there's anyone for you and like they all suck. Like
Yes.
that's kind of more like a mopey, like sad, I'm down kind of thing. But like she
Yeah.
makes you kind of want to laugh about it and just be like, well. I
Yeah,
guess this is
exactly.
how it is.
I love how
Like,
like tongue in cheek she is with
yeah.
that song. Yeah, no, it's such a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, she really is like she's just making things feels just so fresh. Like even if it is necessarily a topic that has been sung about a lot, like it still feels fresh and new. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
such a great thing.
I think also in Brandy Carlisle's new album, she has done a great job of that too. Like
Hmm.
she's like one of my ultimate songwriting inspirations. She's incredible. And
Hmm.
I always think she's coming up with the most like inventive, beautifully written pieces that are always like exploring new themes, which is really cool.
Yeah, I love her sound and her lyrics. I do need to listen to her latest one more, but I do.
Yeah,
She is great.
yeah,
So,
you should. There's a
yeah.
song on her new one, You Without Me. It's like my
Mhm.
favorite one on that album. You should definitely listen to it.
I'll have to check that one out because I've been wanting to, kind of catch up on some music to listen to. So that's going on the list.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, so now kind of shifting back to your album, I read in your press kit that, and this isn't an exact quote, but it's just kind of what I remember, but you say that in this album you kind of shift the framing of a breakup from a mourning to a celebration.
Yes.
So, what inspired you to do that shift? And was it also something that you knew you wanted to do, or was it something that you kind of had to kind of, I guess, work through your emotions and get to that point?
Yeah, it was very much a work through my emotions.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like ultimately, I think there always comes that point after you kind of like end a connection with someone where are you kind of have to go through like a mourning process. And then it got to the point for me where I was I am just like uh, like I'm choosing, I felt I was like, I'm choosing to make my life miserable by like holding on to like what could have been or what I wish happened or all like just living in the past. And so I really made the active decision. I was like, I need to move forward. I need to think about what I want and who I am. And I think just like the arc of all of that and in like interspersed with obviously with conversations with my friends, like so many of the
Mhm.
songs that are on this album honestly are inspired by conversations that I have with my friends and things that we've talked about, things that they say to me. I am so blessed to have such incredible friendships, and I feel like they are truly one of my biggest inspirations, and the things that they say and the insights that they have about relationships, about sense of self, identity. So I think it was just a very natural arc, honestly, that
Mhm.
the album took of, you have those songs that are for the nights that you're grappling with, oh, like what could have been, what I wish happened. And then you have songs that are like the last song on the album is like a complete total release of all negative energy. And it actually, there's a really cool moment. I'm so excited for this one to be out. There's a really cool moment in the last song where the band and the instrumentals like completely take over in the end. And so like the
Ooh.
last minute and a half is like a total musical shift and tempo shift, and the band just kind of like takes off and you feel like you're kind of like riding into the sunset. And
Oh,
that's very
fun.
much the vibe of the yeah, just like the release of all of it, because um I think yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
it took a really natural shape, and I think it's just like with a couple of relationships in particular that I've had that inspired certain moments of the album. I think within all of it, I never wanted the songs to be about the other person. I think there's a
Mhm.
lot of, like I said, introspection, and I think there's a lot of self-reflection in the music, and even in different relationship dynamics, I'm like, it always teaches me something about myself. And so that's what I hope comes across in the music, that there's a lot of, you know, identity, discovering who I
Mhm.
am in certain scenarios, who I can be. Um, yeah, and that really comes
Yeah.
through, I think, in the music.
I think it does too. I really do. Like
Good.
that.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Y- Yeah, like it's kind of going back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier about like Sabrina Carpenter and everything. Like that's actually really how I feel about this album too. Like when it comes to how you have like started to frame this breakup, because like I feel like most breakup albums or just even just albums really, like if they're even just touching on a breakup in any way, like it's usually just about the morning and that's it. Like it's
Mhm.
usually only getting out those sad feelings, and it's either like they're either like just down because of the breakup, or they like want to figure out how they can fix it and like mend the relationship. But like what's
Yeah,
so like refreshing about Art Baby is that you're not doing that. Like you're choosing to come back to yourself, which I just feel like there is not a whole lot of in terms of music. And I just love that
yeah,
so much. Like that is a really, truly just nice, fresh thing that you've decided to do with this record.
I appreciate that so much. That means a
Yes,
lot to me. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
something that I was happy to explore. And like I said, like I haven't really in the past written that type of material. So it was really fun for me to write, kind of like speak. I felt like by writing it, I was like speaking it into existence. You know, I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
totally.
I'm gonna write this, and like this is gonna be what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Hey, look, I am 100% a believer in that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
100%. So, yeah, so like, it kind of feels like and you probably have touched on this before, but where it's like reclaiming your own narrative.
Mhm.
That's just another strong theme in this album, I think. So, what did that look like for you, both like spiritually and also artistically?
I honestly hadn't written in a while, and I was part of it was because I was, you know, I was still in school, I was
Mm-hmm.
um, studying, and there was a lot going on.
That'll take
But
a lot of your time. Yep.
yeah, right. But I felt like part of kind of reclaiming my own narrative and sense of self was just getting like diving full force back into songwriting, and that was what ultimately like I was generating so many songs, and then ended up with this 13 track album, and it felt just like very invigorating to me. And the more that I wrote, the more that I felt that sense of you know, reclaiming my own
Mm-hmm.
energy, my own power, my expression. So it was really just like a great cycle that like once I started expressing that, it just like it kept building and building momentum.
Yeah. So were there any, would you say like breakthrough moments for you during the process of this, or even just moments where you surprised yourself?
There's honestly there were a lot of moments of surprise. I really felt like my favorite part of the process of creating this album was actually doing an interlude. There's an interlude on the album that is a it's a poem that I wrote in one of my poetry seminars at NYU that I ended up taking and just putting it in. I was like, it fit so well with some of the songs and with the themes, and it felt to me like I tried actually writing it like into a song for a while, but it felt really inauthentic, and it just to me it made so much more sense just like as a poem spoken.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up putting that in as an interlude, and I wove it basically like into and out of the two songs that are surrounding it. And that to me was very exciting because
Yeah.
it's fun to play with form and structure and allow myself kind of the freedom to be like, okay, wait, like this isn't, I'm not following like a rubric, you know, there's not a guideline of like what the album has to be or what it has to look like. So getting to play around with adding new elements and doing things that aren't typically, I don't know, like as marketable or as commercial, like it was nice to kind of like bend the rules a bit and just play. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So now that you bring up poetry and everything, I want to talk about like all of the different mediums you do. So like you create across so many. Like we've got poetry, modeling, singing,
Yeah.
and acting. Am I missing any? Like, is there any to add?
Yeah, I've been like spinning a lot of plates recently, which has been fun. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like a gradual building, honestly. I feel like I've been singing since the time I could talk. Like I've that's kind of
Okay.
where my love of it started. I started taking classical voice. I'm classically
Hmm.
trained since I was very young, and my parents also put me in piano when I was like 3. So I grew up with music always in the house, and I was always singing.
Yeah.
Um, so that feels like the longest standing part of
Hmm.
what I do. Um, Acting also has been something I've been passionate about for a really long time. It's what I studied at NYU. So that's like a big part of me. And then I feel like all of it really goes hand in hand, honestly. It's all to me at the end of the day, it's storytelling. Like even doing modeling work I think is so cool because you get to, you know, you're creating visual worlds and you're
Yeah.
playing characters in a way as you
Hmm.
are when you're acting. It's just in a completely different medium. Um, So yeah, I think at the heart of all of it is storytelling, and it's something that I've always loved to do.
Yeah, so I guess you would say that singing is kind of where it originated, though. It started with
Yeah.
singing, and then that just opened the door for the rest of these.
Yeah, honestly, like singing and reading, I was really like I was
Uh,
always such a bookworm when I was little. And I mean I still am. So I
mm-hmm.
feel like singing and reading kind of, they open the door for all of that other stuff. And when you, I mean, even when you combine those two, I feel like live
Mm-hmm.
theater is like a kind of a byproduct of that. The you have your the script, you have the score, you're able to combine worlds, and so I've always
Mm-hmm.
loved musical theater. It's always been something I knew I wanted to do from the time I was really young.
Do you have a current read or just like the last book you read?
Ooh, I recently read White Nights by Dostoevsky and The Idiot as well. I'm like very in like a Russian literature era right
Mm-hmm.
now, which has
Hey, yeah,
been
we
fun.
love
I feel like
it.
especially when it's winter for some reason, I'm like, okay, I
Yes.
want to like I'm like let me reread like Anna Karenina or something.
Yeah.
I also love Sylvia Plath, and I have
Mm.
like literally I have so many like all Sylvia Plath. I
Yes.
have her journals. I'm like,
Love
she's like
it.
everywhere, everywhere in my apartment. So
Hey, we love it.
I'm always coming back to her poetry because I love the themes that she explores, and I love her way of just I feel like you see like the inner workings mechanics of her mind through her writing in such a
Mm-hmm.
tangible way. Like I just think, yeah, I mean, she's one of my like all-time artistic inspirations for sure.
Yeah, and she's just such a winter, fall, winter, colder months, slowing
Yeah.
down type thing. She's perfect for this time of year. We love
Yes.
it.
Also, my other favorite book that I reread like at least like once a year is The Secret History.
Oh my
Have you read
gosh.
that?
Yes, I read it last year
I'm
for the first
obsessed with that book.
time.
I'm
Oh my
obsessed.
gosh.
I know. It's one of those books, it's one of
Ah!
those things where like if you meet someone else that has read it, you're like, okay, like we you get it. You get
Yes,
it.
because like it is like I will say it is such a strange book. Like it's a
It is.
little like strange, but like I
Yeah.
think that's why I loved it so much. Like
It's
it was
so
so
unique.
yes.
Yeah. Those characters are just they're so well written too. Like they're so
Hmm.
well-rounded and like fleshed out, and you just feel like you know them all immediately. Like it's such a brilliant book. I love Donna
Yeah.
Tartt. She's
It
incredible.
just pulls you in so much, like you almost feel like you're also just like an unnamed character in
Yeah.
the story. Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the unreliable narrator trope
Oh my
that
gosh,
like
me
you
too.
have going on in there with Richard. Like you just
Yeah.
like can you really believe his perspective
I
fully? Like
know.
you know, like
I know. Or like sometimes you do, and then sometimes like, yeah, right, you read something, you're like, oh, that doesn't like what?
yeah.
Yeah, no, she's such a brilliant author, truly. That book is like that's one of those things where it's just such a like once in a lifetime read. I wish I could go back and read it for the first time.
I know, same. And I will say it did take me like I think it took me like a month and a half because it is
Yeah.
kind of a thick
Yeah, it's
book, you know,
dense.
it's
It is
and
dense.
you
Yeah,
can't really like speed through it. I feel like the only proper time to read it is if you have time to sit there and just slowly take in and
I
process
agree.
what's happening. Like you can't fly through it and get the full
No.
effect.
Yeah, definitely not.
So I also want to ask you, did you always know that you were an artist? Like, were there any like early indications or like childhood interest habits that you had that kind of, I guess,
Mhm.
foreshadowed that you would be such a creative and artistic person? When did you know?
I really feel like I always knew. Like
Yep.
I just think I was such a natural. I gravitated towards, like I said, music so much.
Hmm.
I loved playing the piano. I loved listening to music. I grew up really with music in the house all the time too. My parents like would always have different albums on rotation, and they're both graphic designers as well.
Oh.
So it was kind of like I feel like that really foreshadowed it.
Hmm. It
Um,
already got an artistic family.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they would, I mean, I grew up even going to like see, going to their studio in downtown Minneapolis, and they would take
Hmm.
me to galleries and exhibits. So yeah, it just felt like that was honestly my whole world. Yeah, it was very natural.
Cool. I love that so much. So now I also want to kind of go back to your acting background. How would you say that like your background in acting and also writing kind of influences like your storytelling and also your visuals for just overall making music, like in any of your work?
Yeah, I think it's so intrinsically linked. I think acting is having having the background in acting, it really, like I said, it gives me such an appreciation for storytelling and
Mm-hmm.
for characters, bringing characters to life and really understanding their complexity. And acting at the end of the day, I really feel like so much is just about observing, and paying attention to, human behavior and why people do the things that they do and the way that they speak and their relationships. So all of that has bled into my songwriting. Absolutely. I would say it's being an actor has made me a more observant person. It's made me also so much more in touch with my own emotions. Um, because I mean, you really have to be. And I think some of the best, even like some of my closest friends that are actors, that I think are so incredible and I love everything that they do. They're people that their emotions live so close to the surface. Like they're always like right on top, and like
Mm-hmm.
they will laugh 1 second and be crying the next. And that's
Yeah.
just they're so emotionally available and like that's so
Yeah.
accessible to them. Which I think lends itself to their acting and makes them even more incredible in their work. So I love that. I love getting to explore, you know, people, getting to explore reasons, like I said, for motivations of why people do the things that they do, and all of that is part of what I write. All of it is like lends itself, I guess, to the
Mm-hmm.
writing process and to poetry, and it's just like a different exploration of similar things that you explore in acting.
Yeah. Now, would you say that because you've been doing all of this for a while, pretty much you said you started loving it since you were 3. So would you say that just like over the course of your career, have you had any moments where, you were like, "Y- should I like give this up and like I guess pursue like a more conventional life?" Because, I feel like that's a lot of thing that artists can kind of like face sometimes is people trying to like reel them back into reality and do something that's more like safe or
Yeah.
just standard. Like, did you ever have any moments like that where you kind of thought, should I, you know not do this, like
Mhm.
self-doubt, doubt from other people?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's always been moments of self-doubt. I think with any person that is in a creative field,
Mm-hmm.
you have those moments where you feel, imposter syndrome, or
Yeah.
you question your ability to do something or how viable it is. I feel very blessed to have parents that are incredibly encouraging and supportive of my artistic endeavors because they're both
Mm-hmm.
artists themselves,
Oh
and they
yeah, so
have,
they get it.
yeah, so they understand, and they're like my biggest inspirations in the life that they have built for themselves in their careers, in their dedication and their perseverance and commitment to their art and what they do and what they create. So I feel very blessed to, like I said, be so inspired by them to keep going,
Hmm.
and to keep doing what I'm doing. But yeah, there's always moments of self-doubt. I feel like it's just you have to just push through it. I love the
Yeah.
quote that's like, it's like this so cheesy, but the quote that's like, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like
No,
you can be
hey.
nervous to put something out, you can be nervous
Hmm.
to or questioning your own capability, but like you just have to you have to push through it.
Yeah, do it scared. Do it
Yeah,
nervous, do it
exactly.
scared, do it unsure. Just do it as long as you do it
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love to hear that though. Like, I feel like a lot of times, that's another thing that can be kind of rare is hearing artists say that, like, they've felt supported more often than not. Because,
Mhm.
normally you're like, no, they're like, just had to kind of tune everyone else out and like
Yeah.
trust myself. So I love that that really wasn't the case for you. That makes me really happy for you.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate, truly. I feel really lucky to have that support.
Yeah. So now when I get towards the end of interviews, I kind of like to throw in a little fun questions, just to
Yeah,
kind of end on a
makes
positive note. Yeah.
sense.
So my first fun question would be if your album Art Baby was a film, what genre would you say it would be?
Ooh, ooh.
Take your
Oh,
time.
I I honestly I feel like it would be like a rom-com.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I feel like I don't know, or like a I don't know, like a comedy drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's
It could be a
I think
combination of
yeah,
several.
yeah. I think there's so much, there's a lot of lightness and levity and humor that has come into the album that I didn't even really
Yeah.
expect there to be. But there's like a lot of the songs, even like halfway, even Art Baby, um, there's like a tongue-in-cheek quality to it.
hmm
So I feel like, yeah, like a rom-com or something like that.
Yeah, maybe even throw in just a little bit of coming of age.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I love that answer. So, and then also too, just what are some of your favorite albums? Just any album, and just some
Ooh.
artists that inspire you.
I love this question. Um,
Yay!
I My favorite albums, there's literally so many. I love No Way to Relax When You're on Fire by Dora Jar. I love her entire discography. She's incredible. I love Ultraviolence is my favorite Lana Del Rey album.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I also oh my gosh, there's so many. The Story, Brandy Carlisle is another one of my favorites. Um, it's so hard to think.
I
I
know it
think
is. It
I
is.
mean, also Currents, Tame Impala, Currents. I love Tame
hmm
Impala. There's so many. Everything Joni Mitchell.
Oh yes, yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
Faye Webster also. Um,
Such good
what is it?
choices.
Atlanta
Wow.
Atlanta Billionaires Club, something like that.
Yeah,
I forget the name. I'm forgetting the name
I
of the album
know.
that has
I
like
miss.
Kingston on it, and
hmm
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I think you're right. It's
I think
okay.
it's something like
It's
that.
okay if not. Close enough. Like
Um, in terms of Taylor Swift is, I feel like I was raised on her music. I grew up listening to her. But her favorite albums of mine are Folklore and Evermore. They're just like so inspiring. I
Me too.
love those records so
Me
much.
too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
recently I don't know if you've seen the thing where you can like mathematically calculate like your favorite Taylor albums and you can like rank them. I
Oh
did
my gosh.
that. Yeah. There was like a girl on TikTok like telling you what to do.
Wait, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm totally gonna look that up.
Yeah, like just go on like TikTok and you can type in like Taylor Swift like mathematical like album ranking. And it's really easy. Like you don't have to be I'm not the best at math and I was still able to do it. But it's like so fun and like you can get like your complete order ranking of her albums and I had like Evermore at number 1, Folklore at 2 and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was
No,
really fun.
literally probably I would be the exact same. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
those two albums, there's something just very magical. Sorry about the noise.
No, it's okay. It's the city.
The
It's the
city.
city. There's nothing you can
Always,
do.
always something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love those albums. There's something very special about them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like they're just so special and just something about the lyricism and just I don't know, they
Hmm.
just feel like they feel like healing and
Yeah, and they feel very
processing, you know?
honest. Yeah, yeah, they feel so honest and really like unobstructed by anything. Like
Yeah.
it just feels very like stripped.
And also too, I always thought of them as kind of like a risk because like, she wasn't really known for slower, non-autobiographical things and then she
Yes.
just surprise drops this like, like sort of like indie like bedroom pop sounding record that
Mhm.
is
So
kind of
good.
dense lyrically but
Yeah.
like good and that's kind of a risk like kind of going
Yeah,
against what you've
totally.
done and I just love that so it feels like natural and just like true to her which I
Yeah,
think is the best work that
I
feels
agree.
that way.
I agree.
And then do you have a song that you wish you wrote?
Oh, I have so many. I have so many. Um, Another Taylor one I wish I
hmm
wrote is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. That is like one of my favorite songs of hers. And That's another one where I'm like, did you break into my head and write this? Like
Yeah.
that is like I feel like I that's a song I wish I wrote for sure. Um, ooh, also Back to Me by the Marias. Love that one.
Great
And
one. Wow. You got
oh,
such good choices.
um, mm, I have another one. I feel like I have so many. I'm always like I like have a little folder like of like screenshots of songs that I'm like literally like songs that I wish I wrote.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm like trying to mentally go through it in my head. There's definitely a Lana song also that I'm like, oh, this one is like so specific. I think it's either Honeymoon or Religion. There's something just about, I mean, I wish I would have written the entire Honeymoon album. I
Oh
think
my gosh. Who
it's
doesn't
beautiful.
wish they wrote that album?
I know. I think Lana Del Rey is like so singular, truly, in her
Hmm.
songwriting. There's not another artist, in my opinion, that captures what she captures so
Hmm.
eloquently and beautifully. And I love how cinematic her songs are. Like, you feel like you're
Hmm.
looking at a painting when you listen to her songs. You
Yeah.
know, they just like, they're so lush and saturated, and the
Hmm.
instrumentals are so sweeping. Like, at any of her songs, honestly, I wish I would have written.
Yeah, like you feel like you are the person in the
Yeah.
song. Like, they're, yeah, just so
Yeah,
cinematic
they're
like that.
immersive. They're so immersive.
Yeah, well, that is such a strong list. Wow. And then, do you have any like just small everyday things that like fill your creative well or just like keep you going creatively, inspired? Like, how do you stay in
Yeah.
touch with your creativity?
Yeah, I feel like it's something I have to like actively do for sure because I sometimes
Hmm.
I'll if I don't really stay on top of myself about like writing every day, then I'll find that there can be like weeks where I'm not, not writing at all and I feel like it's always more daunting then to jump back into it. So I sometimes will fall back on like prompts that I even got from like poetry seminars and things like that where you have to write a certain amount of words in a certain amount of time from like a certain word list of like weird random things that you have to like incorporate into a poem. Like sometimes I'll do like a prompt or just an exercise like that just to like get myself writing, but I try to write something every day.
Hmm.
If it's good, if it's bad, like I just try to not judge it and just like let it be what it is, but it helps keep me feeling like I'm still in tune with my creativity.
Yeah, nice, cool. And then my last question for you is what do you hope people take away from Art Baby after listening when it comes out on February 6th?
I really hope that people resonate with it, and um, I hope that they feel like it brings them a sense of catharsis and visibility and connection. Yeah, I hope they take away um, that feeling of like what I always look for when I listen to music, which is that like I said, I see myself, I see my own experiences.
Hmm.
Um, so I hope that people can listen to the songs and feel, yeah, less alone in their experiences and in their processing of um, the art, the different at different points of an arc of a relationship.
Yeah, well, beautiful. I think people are definitely going to get that from it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. And then before we go, I also like to have everyone list off their social media profiles
Yes.
so everyone can follow you. What are they?
Yes.
Where can they find you?
Honestly, everything is under my full name, Grace Annabella Anderson. That's my handle on Instagram, on TikTok. My Instagram has everything like linked in it. That's also where I am on all streaming platforms, just under my full name.
Perfect. Nice and simple. We love that.
Yep.
That's going to be so much easier for me when I edit this.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, is there anything else you want to add? Like anything we didn't cover that you want to have mentioned in here?
Um, I don't think so. I'm so glad that we got to talk so in depth about the album and everything. I appreciate your questions so much. It was such a great conversation.
Yeah, I loved it so much. And thank you so much for being here and giving me your time. It was such a
Yeah,
fun
no,
chat.
thank you. Seriously, thank you. I'm really happy that we connected and got to talk.
Thank you again for being here. This was such a fun chat. I love talking with you.
It
You're
was.
awesome.
Likewise, it was so nice meeting you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.